Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Riven. So, sort of appropriately mislike, I have found one thing I didn't do correct. So we need to go back to what they're describing as Crater Lake, which is the big mountainous area with a, I suppose you could call it a crater. Around it, and because of that we're supposed to go to the place where we trapped the frog in the last recording, and turns out that there's a hidden path behind a doorway, much in the same way that I suspect there might be a hidden path in this passageway, but I am not 100% certain. So we go this way, and we can just go through here. It might be smarter to not go that direction in the future though, just to avoid seeing a cutscene. So you get in this minecart and ride to Crater. Right. We've seen this transition now 3 times, and that is for somebody who has played Riven before. In fact, I'm kind of in this weird position because I'm almost thinking I played this for my channel before, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. I may have finally hit the point where I've played so many games for my YouTube channel that I've forgotten what I played for myself versus what I played and actually have footage of. So hopefully this is not duplicate footage. I don't think it is. But that being said, riding on this track so many times, 3 times now, is 3 times too much, and anybody who was playing this for the first time and didn't have a clue what they were doing, but for some reason had a much higher than normal level of ability to stick with something than you would in 2018, you'd be so frustrated, and you would be riding these tracks back and forth. This one in the what they call the maglev floating train, which I don't know why you'd call it actually a maglev. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's just kind of not what I expect for something described as a maglev. Alright, gotta come back 1 step this way so I can go around. And unless I've misunderstood the walkthrough, you go through here, you turn around, you shut the door. I don't know why. Okay. That's insanity. There is a passage. All sneaky. Like. And we've seen this before. Am I supposed to reach out and click on the gold one? Like, it seems like it kind of hesitates when I try to click on it, but it could just be that the video is looping. What is this, an eyeball? This is weird because, let's see, it's like a engine with a number system on it. And it looks like there might be something downward, but I don't see it. And going forward, I guess the rule is to shut all doors and see. Yeah, it is an engine. Interesting. Five. So you want to just get it to line up with that line. And so you would totally get this trick, but you wouldn't get this trick if you hadn't done the previous trick. And we've got yet another book, which we don't know the combination to. Interesting. So we found 2 books now. One, I mean, I don't know what the other one is even. And now we can go this direction. And see, the weird thing here is this is going to bring us to Gin, the bad guy, who we should have run into way earlier, considering we're kind of speedrunning this game. And you needed, for a puzzle game, to run into the bad guy a little early. Compared to abduction, within the first 5 minutes, you run into a character that is at least maybe the bad guy. So that's locked. Let's go this direction. Taking our time, I guess, to be a little bit more thorough. We haven't, I guess, been playing as thorough as I should have been. I found 3 of the puzzle balls, which seem like they are randomized, which that's going to be a problem. And look, here's that platform back. So we went full circle from the Crater Island, is what they're calling it. Names don't mean much if you don't actually name your game something in Crater in story. Nice blue ocean, pretty empty though. And I believe we just have to hit this. And since we've already given the steam to it, it would be nice if solving these puzzles really did create passages and interconnections to the rest of the world, but it only sort of does in very limited situations. It's not like there's this intricate shortcut web that's going to make it really quick and easy to travel. That is something you'd want to try and shoot for in an open world puzzle game environment. It just doesn't happen. And I was wrong. We walked by Gin's place, but we didn't actually get in it. So we need to raise this platform so that we can walk around. Which, the solution apparently to every problem is as simple as find the button. Interesting. Which makes me wonder if you need to call this platform to cross the lower section. There's still some major things. Here's another spinning dome to shut down. So a third book, which that doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe these books are just going to have codes in them and not be linking books. Maybe, maybe not. And pull this switch. And I believe this is taking us back. So what this does, I saw in the walkthrough they said to do this 3 times, so we'll just do it 3 times. I'm not sure what this really solves. I guess it now connects, like, not that one, we've already done that one. It may connect the lower section with the higher section of the dome. What does that do, though? I guess that's the question of the minute. I didn't read the walkthrough to a level. Alright, well, that connects us and gives us a shortcut, I suppose. But I want to get down this way, and I don't know how we could do that. Let's move further and create a path. Alright, so everything is now interconnected, and there's less, if no reason, to spin those things around anymore. What was this? Still makes no sense. I mean, I suppose we could save ourselves some frustration though, and we'll put this on number 14 just in case we need to take a snapshot of it. Thank you, ScumVM, for giving us the opportunity to cheat the system and introduce a photo mode in a nearly 21-year-old game. This is either going to crush me or move me lower down. It chose to move me lower down. So it was an elevator on top of an elevator. And that lets me, let's see, I assume pressing this doesn't do anything more. Or maybe it does. Can I walk forward? No. We'll leave it as it is. And we'll come over here. I think I may have gotten it on the first try. Maybe not. Just click on them all. One of the few places here where you have some actual gameplay mechanic, and it's not very responsive at all. Although arguably this is a way more responsive than in MYST 1, the original release of MYST 1 was. And we've got yet another book. And this looks almost like a frequency puzzle, but it's not. Okay. So, what now? What do we do now? I wonder. I don't think there's a reason to do this. I guess we need to find a door that can do something different. Like a door we could close and decide there's a reason to close it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna walk all the way back to Crater Island. Alright, we've got this frog. I don't want to free it this time. Something shuts this fan off. Something shuts this fan off because that was the next bit. There must be a switch. There must be a button that's just not blatantly obvious. Let's see. This pipe seems like it is powering the fan. But then there's also this wire. Here we go. There we go. Oops, went too far. Do we now have the fan off? Yes, we do. And we crawl through the pipes, which it's kind of weird. You don't ever really do this in any of the other MYST games. Maybe you crawl through some rubble or a large sewer, but never just crawl through pipes. And electricity, steel, aluminum technology. And I guess we're supposed to just drop down. I kind of want to, just to be certain, make a save file. Just make sure. Apparently we're pretty safe. And we got some reading. 8/7/28. Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating, but anchored, meaning the entrance near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently and quite mysteriously been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the villagers' island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalog the others. And see, these are the magical mystery balls, which arguably might be these very well might be the things added by Atris. This is some kind of like machine of some sort. And MYST was so about the toys, the little things you can interact with, that didn't matter, and now it's kind of the exact opposite. Everything you can interact with sort of does matter, or at least might matter. Apparently he's making some kind of tea from these nuts, I guess. And here you have ink and pen, paper, and book. And we're gonna have to do more reading. Let's see. 8.2.13. The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my own most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. So he doesn't have the ink to make a linking book. Apparently it's some kind of magical ink. It is just frustrating to expend so much effort creating a blank book only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of the failed attempts. The further I refine each element, the formulations of the ink and paper, the physical dimensions of the book, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is nearly infinite. It is during moments like this that I despair without access to Denis. My long-term goals may not be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are evenings of research which remain to be avenues of research that remain to be explored. I hate it. Like, subtitle it in just simple block language or read this out loud. Like, this would have been a perfect opportunity to pay an actor or voice actor to read his book out loud as it was showing you the text, or just have the character show up as kind of a memory. Let's see. Next, I am discounting regular aberrations. The stars beneath the fissure, although I've been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the stolid starfield, and have proven that their paths are optical without proper instrumentations. It is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitally exchanged between the discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link. But the apparent physical contradictions amassing this junction defy logical reason. The guest the gust columns of wind that was formed when the fissure first appeared suggest a vacuum as one might expect in space, yet my early experiments revealed the presence of a breathable atmosphere. That Atlas and Catherine threw themselves into the void is further evidence that it might be a safe place to travel, but without knowing its true nature, I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if I were to reopen it after so long, but it is likely that the results would be catastrophic given the change that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance on the steam vent cap complete. 8.3.10. I'm extremely pleased with the continuing success of this system. I believe alright, so we're getting into more of this. The contraption to have been true to the denied diagrams of my memory. Another example of surprisingly of the superiority of denied technology. It's ironic that Atlas and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. So he's sucking power apparently directly out of the void. How much more of this is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh. Too much text. And it's not like we've read anything since this point. But I guess we really needed this too. This is the only help we're going to get in this game, is reading somebody's journal. So, continuing on, settle down, I suppose, for the long haul. As with many of my views over the year, my thoughts regarding the origin of the fissure have changed. I have recently begun to wonder whether it was actually an unexpected byproduct or the changes Catherine and Atlas wrote into the age during their escape. Certainly by casting their linking book into the void, they trapped me here as quite effectively, but I do not believe that Atlas intended the book to be lost in this means. And so the part of the argument here is that the book that he tossed into the void may have been the book that you found and touched at the beginning of the main game. Maybe, maybe not. And of course, Catherine is, one assumes, the daughter of well, actually, I guess it can't be, can it? No. Atris has to be the son of Gin, because otherwise Gin wouldn't be raising Atris, or one assumes at least. So I had always taken it that it was kind of this fight over Catherine between a father-in-law and a son-in-law, but no, actually, I guess it's a direct biological father and son fight. Let's see, where were we? Much better to destroy if to seek the possibility of its falling into unknown hands. Atlas had they foreseen the creation of the fissure, they would surely have thought that the vacuum it created would eventually consume the atmosphere of the planet, a fate which Catherine undoubtedly would have doomed unnecessary. Yeah. For her homeworld. So yeah, Catherine's from Riven. If I had not been there to surprise the construction of the seal, supervise the construction of the seal, this is most certainly what would have happened, for the villagers were far too frightened to even approach the vortex without my urging. I hold on to the belief that it was an unintended consequences of their writing for another reason as well. I prefer to think that my son had meant for this age to be merely a prison for me rather than a death sentence. Let's see. The construction of the images has proceeded without fault. It is interesting to see how easily I've been able to adopt the deny technology to mimic that of the, I don't know what word this is, armies, armed, atris, the ages. In some way, that the similarity between the two cultures was striking. I think that might be a reference to some other age. I wonder if perhaps there had been communication or commerce between the two cultures in the early times. Maybe Ket's people were even descendants of the Dini. It pleases me to think so. So here we have pictures of hologram technology, I think, that probably don't matter. Note that it's possible that if I were somehow able to supply the book with a power source of sufficient magnitude, I could suppress the resonant energy. I'm going to go ahead and save some screenshots, and we'll start at just 25 in this book to facilitate a solid link. It is doubtful that the geothermal cap generator could provide such an enormous surge. Perhaps I could adapt the live marbles. Maybe those are, at least calling those mystery balls. I've been cataloging the natural elements of this age for nearly 30 years now, yet still I continue to find evidence of the Dini, a prescription, what is that? Precognition of with 5. So the number 5, we know. As a boy, it was very clear to me that the number 5 had special significance to the Dini society, from the ancient heraldic emblems of the reading elite to the humble homes of the commoners. I know I'm missing some words here and not pronouncing some words and not reading some words right. We're getting the gist of it. If you're doing any better at home, congratulations. It was so the Dini love 5. Riven society loves the number 5. There's a lot of thought in this game that all of the ages, because they're called ages, might be just different variations of the same planet at different times in this weird time loop where apparently you can't change things, but you can transfer from one place to another. I think at a certain point in the MYST series they had to break away from that idea. It would have been a really cool idea, but it restrains you quite a bit to say well, the island of MYST is actually Denny, and Denny is actually Denny, and Riven is actually Denny, and every single other island is actually Denny. It's possible. I mean, if Denny is this giant ocean planet and there are just different islands everywhere that at different times had different things on them, it sort of kind of could work. But or if Denny was some kind of temporal overlapping mix of elements, which all the MYST islands kind of are this weird mix of elements with technology and natural things that look like they were made out of nature but they're not naturally growing, magical sort of things. Let's see, where were we? Let's see, it was ubiquitous. Its presence here is obviously a direct reflection of the minds that designed the text that I need to compose this age. Further proof. Let's see. So, like, if it was the Denny people that made Riven out of nothing, there's also another direct reason why they'd be obsessed with 5. Further proof that through their art of the Denny masters were indeed creating the most marvelous worlds that they wrote, and not as many have mistakenly thought merely building links to a pre-existing world. So even in the game storyline, they never really tell you. While most of my constructions have been based on Denny designs, I see now that the ones that I have imbued with the power of 5 are clearly the most beautiful, the most perfect, and I believe that the most structurally sound. I'm still attempting to determine the dimming color symbology reflected this suspicious design. Determine how the Denny color symbology reflects this superior design principle. Although superficially it's based on the 6 color system, I am concerned that there has to be a deeper connection to the 5. It will continue to investigate. And see, now we've got this symbol here, and so this may be helpful information or not, but I'll take another picture by just making another save. Moving on to the next paragraph. I finally made a breakthrough. I have successfully succeeded in modifying the 5 marbles to generate enough power to hold a descriptive linking book in a stable matrix. I have linked to a new world. It is a harsh and desolate age, but it is nonetheless well suited for my purpose. And so I've designated it and then there's a symbol here that is a number that you would have to read in the number system. So either that number, it's probably not his 3rd. I would be surprised if it's something like his 23rd age, because that's just how he named all his ages, is he would just call them numbers. That we saw that in the original book. By studying it clearly, I believe that I will eventually be able to create a more appropriate age for us to resettle on. For now, I would build I will build an office and set up my living quarters there in order that I may conduct my experiments in safety and without distraction. And so we've got another diagram to something I don't really see. I haven't seen, so maybe he is in this other world. Let's see. I must admit that I'm proud of my work. To think that in such primitive conditions I have accomplished in 29 years what it took the original Denny centuries to achieve. Note, repair outer walls, repair outer, is that walls for work on the world. The goggles may need to be redesigned altogether. Repair outerwear for work. Okay. Moving on, I have begun construction a series of link sites for each island that I will connect Riven with my new office on whatever that number is. The Survey Guild has finally completed the site location for each island according to my exact specifications, and installation of the domes is underway at last. So we found 3 domes, and apparently there's like 5 of them, and they each link to this other world. So we are going somewhere else, which is kind of nice, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be doing too much there. It might simply just be a puzzle to get from one place to the other. Work on the central power source got off to a bit of a bad start, I'm afraid, but the pace has picked up considerably since then, and I anticipate no further delays. I'm looking forward to finally having a civilized means of production, or transportation. A civilized means of transportation. Apparently the books are civilized. And so we see the symbol, which is slightly different to how it's shown in the big dome. And I think the idea here is this symbol maybe is pointing to each of the gold domes. So we may be able to use that, maybe, just maybe, to find where, I suppose we found 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 domes so far, and there should be 2 more. Like, due to the rebels' continued disturbances, I've decided to install a coded access system into all of the domes, and here is the number. And this is, we definitely need. This is the code. We still don't know how to read this code, but at the very least we could code break it, because, well, it'd be really hard, but the number only goes up to 5, I think. So each of these numbers probably are close to 5 or less. Let's see. I caught one of my assistants looking over my journal today. I'm glad I've chosen to write in a language they cannot decipher. Note: discuss security with each guild master. No problems expected from the maintenance, education, surveyors. Question the bookmakers and builders more closely. So he's really just running this society. Although, you know, there's still nothing here showing that he's, like, you know, brutally murdering or enslaving these people more than he's just kind of leading them. And he is sort of trying to save them in the spirit of saving himself, at least. Today I heard several more reports of the spirit sightings by the same villagers. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels, as the Black Black MYST, what is that? MYST, as the villagers obstinately insist on referring them to have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics and have seen their campaign to intimidate the villages into joining them, playing upon absurd superstition. The villages are certainly susceptible to these forms of whatever that word is, coercion, especially given of late the rebels increasingly acts of vandalism and theft. So Catherine is running a rebellion. How many more do we have here? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Too much text. Too much text. Let's see. So, I want to save here on the regular save file. And I would like to see how long we've been playing this game. Now, we are at the 4-hour mark. We're kind of, sort of, maybe getting close to, I wouldn't say a halfway point, maybe even past the halfway point. The thing that's going to save the day is figuring out the numbering system. And if the numbering system is random, which I believe it is, that means I'm really going to have to learn it. That means I'm going to have to get to the one place where you are supposed to learn it. And then I can translate everything. And once I can translate everything, I can kind of solve everything. Still not getting any blue pieces of paper or red pieces of paper. No real items or collectibles. It would be nice if there was just like a golden beetle that you picked up when you solved the puzzle. Just so you know you had some kind of collectible and you were making progress. Or maybe a progress bar telling you when you save that you're actually 80% done with the game. I doubt I'm 80% done with the game. And we've taken so much time reading all of this that A, I need to take a break and stop reading, and B, we need to end this recording. So next recording we're going to start back at this point, and we're learning a lot. We were directly handed the passcode to open all the books. It's kind of a shame that we needed that. It would have been better if there was actually a code that you just had to enter in this room, and then it unlocked all of those domes automatically. That would have only required us to figure out the code and put it in once, versus a system they've designed where we're going to have to put in the code 5 times. I imagine once we put in the code once, that'll be it. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.